Hi friends, Padre Piper, taken to the virtual airwaves of YouTube and the YouTube pipe community to say hi to the YTPC and to talk a little bit about back to school and a giveaway I want to offer, a back to school giveaway, and doing it old school. So what does that mean, doing this back to school giveaway old school? Well, I got to thinking, it's that time of the year and kids are getting ready to go back to school. It amazes me because when I was a youngster, we didn't go back to school as early as it seems like schools start now. Sometimes, I think even when I was younger, it might have even been September, way back maybe post Labor Day. But now, heck, there are some communities where kids don't even get summer off. They go to school year round. But here we are in the beginning of August, or approaching the beginning of August as I film this, and yeah, it's back to school time. And I happened to drive by the other day a store that I used to go to when it was time to go back to school. Well, we went there all the time actually for all sorts of things, but back to school was no exception because we could get our school supplies there and such. And what it was back in the day was what was called a drugstore. Now, we don't call them drugstores anymore, we call them pharmacists. And back then you'd walk in and the guy or the gal behind the counter who would, fill your prescriptions and such, we didn't really call them pharmacists back then when I was a kid. They were druggists. It was just a different world. And yeah, I know it's all the same stuff. They were still professionals and such. But I remember going into this drugstore, and this was, listen, the 70s and even through the 80s, there was a soda fountain there. You could actually go and get, ice cream served to you, or you could get a malt or a banana split or a milkshake. I mean, it was just a different day. What am I talking about? Talking about a chain that was down here in the Deep South, based out of New Orleans, but throughout much of the Gulf South part of the country. It was called K&B Drugs, and that stood for Katz and Bestoff, and it dated back all the way to 1905 when Sidney Bestoff and Gustav Katz got together and opened their very first store in New Orleans. And it was, the rest, as they say, is history. K&B Drugs went on and had a wonderful run all the way up until 1997 when they were purchased by Rite Aid. And by 1998, 1999, all the purple stores had become the red, white, and blue of Rite Aid. I say purple stores because K&B was known for everything being purple. I mean, their carts that you shopped with were purple. Their store brand items, if you went there to get matches, they were purple. At least the box that they came in. The bags that they put stuff in for you, they were purple. In fact, throughout the 20th century, I read somewhere, the New Orleans newspaper, the Times-Picayune, throughout the 20th century was the largest single purchaser of purple ink, because they would run these weekly and sometimes more than once a week large advertisements in the newspaper for the sales at K&B. And so I happened to go by the old K&B, which of course is now a Rite Aid, the one I used to go to when I was a kid, and in the little shopping center. I'm going to roll some B film to show you some of that. But when I got in there, I didn't find the large aisle dedicated to pipes and pipe tobaccos like it was back in the day. I remember late 80s as an undergraduate in college buying my first Dr. Gribot pipe. My very first pipe was purchased at K&B, and back then you could purchase all kinds of different OTC drugstore brand stuff. But this Rite Aid still has some pipe stuff. In fact, you can get, and I got this Missouri Meerschaum Corn Cob pipe. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a legend. It doesn't quite say on the package. I'll have to do a little research on that. And you can buy some OTC pipe tobacco, some Captain Black Gold. Well, the Captain Black White didn't make it over here, but I got some Captain Black White over the counter, half and half, and you can get some lighters and such. And so what I figured I was going to do as a thank you to all my subscribers is to ask you to participate in a giveaway. And I want to do this old school giveaway. I want to send out to the grand prize winner these 3 pouches of over-the-counter tobacco, only 2 of them pictured here, the Captain Black White somewhere else. I'm going to send you this corn cob pipe, these lighters. I'm also going to include in there, we're not going to go total old school drugstore, I'm going to include an ounce of something from my personal collection. It's made by a company called Esoterica. You're not going to find it at a drugstore. It's a little something called Penzance. So I will sweeten the deal by including that to the winner. All the regular rules apply. You know, you got to be old enough, 18 or over. I don't know. I think I'm going to ship this worldwide. So if you're not in North America and US or Canada, go ahead and do this anyway. We'll see what happens. If I can ship it, I will certainly ship it to a winner out there. Here's the deal. Back in the day, we get ready to go back to school, and like I said, I can remember going to the K&B and getting my school supplies and such, and it got me to thinking about where I am now versus where I was back then. You know, when I was a kid, what I wanted to do when I grew up, well, I remember being very, very young, and like most little boys, I wanted to be a fireman or a policeman, and this is the God's honest truth. Somewhere there's a little letter that attests to this. I think my dad still has it at his house. One year, I wrote a letter to Santa Claus telling Santa that what I wanted to be was an elf. Yeah, I wanted to be an elf when I grew up. And this is my dad's wicked sense of humor. I got this letter back from Santa Claus who said that there were actually these sort of height requirements to be an elf, and that I was probably going to grow up to be too tall to be an elf. And yeah, I think I did. The funny thing is, when the movie Elf came out, it's kind of really cool because Buddy, the elf, played by Will Ferrell, he's got about my size about him. You see, he became an elf. But anyway, got a little bit older, I wanted to be a veterinarian. By the time, here's where I'm going with this. By the time I was getting out of high school, and this is going to play into what I want you to do to be a part of this giveaway. By the time I got out of high school, believe it or not, what I thought I was going to be, I was convinced that I was going to be a rock star. I played music, I wrote music, I was mostly a drummer, played in a bunch of bands in this area all through the 80s. I had long hair, at certain times it was purple. I'm not proud to say that. But yeah, so I thought I was going to be a rock star. There came a point where I realized that wasn't going to happen, and I had to get a little bit more serious about my studies and such. And so I ended up, of course, going to college. My undergraduate degree, my first master's degree. My undergraduate degree is in psychology. My first master's is in clinical social work. I have a second master's in psychology, a doctorate in psychology. My first career, my first calling in life is a psychology. So if you would have told me when I was graduating high school that that's what I was going to end up being, I would have said there's no way. And if you would have told me my second calling in life, of course, is to ministry, if you would have told me in high school that I was going to end up, in ministry, I would have said no expletive way. But it's funny how things turn out. And so as we reach this time of the year where we're going back to school, this is what I want you to do to participate in this giveaway. Be a subscriber of mine, make a video, and talk about what it was you thought you were going to grow up and be when you were graduating high school, and talk about what it turned out that you actually are these days. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. Include that in a video response and let me know about it so I can get a playlist going of all of these. And we're going to run this through August, maybe all the way up to the Labor Day weekend. So a quick look at the computer will tell us that Labor Day looks like it's going to be on the 5th of September. So let's run this through 11:59 p.m., right up to midnight, 11:59 p.m. on Friday, September 2nd. Get your entries in by then, and I'll give a number to each of the video entries, and we'll do a random poll to see who's going to win this old school back to school giveaway, which is going to include from the Rite Aid, the Missouri Meerschaum 3-packs of some over-the-counter, some lighters, and I'm going to throw in a little sample of something you're not going to get over the counter, a little bit of Esoterica Penzance to this grand prize winner. So, want to participate? Go ahead and make me a video, let me know about it, and again, I'll get it included in a playlist, and we'll pick a winner for this subscriber giveaway. This back to school, as we go old school with some drugstore brands going back to school, old school giveaway. I want you to participate. Let's have a little fun with this. Tell us what you thought you were going to be when you graduate in high school. Let us know what you turned out to be, what's different about it. Did you see it coming? Have a little fun with this back to school stuff. Okay, guys? This is Padre Piper. Thanks for watching. I want to bless you and wish you God's peace, grace, and blessings.